Okay, friend, imagine this, close your eyes. You move to the big city in your dream apartment. You meet the love of your life on a Tuesday while strutting down the street in your latest knit, latte in hand, on your way to your office with the corner desk. Straight out of a rom-com, right? Today we're going to be looking at some knitting patterns that to me give very much main character energy. If I was the main character in an early 2000s rom-com, this is what I would knit. I did choose some movies specifically just because, friend, you know your girl is a yapper. And today we're gonna try to stay on topic because I actually found a lot of patterns. I rummaged and scrolled and looked through the back alleys of Ravelry trying to find the best patterns, and not even to toot my own horn, friend, not even to toot it, I think that I found them. A lot of these patterns I think will also work really well for the spring as transitional pieces. I've favorited all of these on Ravelry, and so we're gonna go through and see everything that we have on the list. First movie, we're starting off strong. This is probably one of my favorites, even though I'm gonna say every movie is my favorite. What is Y2K rom-com without a Cinderella story? Starring our girl Hilary Duff. I really loved this basic blue top that she has and how she adds her necklace onto it. I feel like it gives it a little bit of personality. So the first pattern that I found is blouse number 1 from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've actually had this in my favorites for a long time before I had planned to make this video. I think what I love so much about this pattern specifically is the neckline. I feel like in maybe like a linen yarn or a cotton yarn, this would be really beautiful. It looks like the pattern uses light fingering yarn. The Ophelia tank and top by Tamara Jordan also I feel like has that vibe. It's a little bit more like there's more details in it on the neckline and then the ribbing. I've never knit lace before. I'm literally terrified. I don't know if this is a top that I plan to make, you know, like in the immediate future. I think this pattern here is especially good as a transitional piece or like a spring summer piece because there's an option to make it sleeveless. I think that's really cute actually, like the sleeveless with the lace detailing. Okay, so I found this pattern Poppy. I hope I don't butcher this name, by Tokes Knits. I think this top is absolutely beautiful. The beauty and the shape of the top is really in the details. I love how the, what's it called? The increases, not really raglan, but like the detail, the increases on the, friend, you see the picture, you know what I'm trying to say. If I were to make this, I don't know what color I would make it. I feel like lately all of my knits have been cream and beige, maybe a shade of green or an orange. I do love this color of the poppy top, but I'm not really like a red girl. Our girl Sam loved her stripes, as do I. But this top that I found I think is absolutely stunning. I love the shape of the arms and the cinched waist. It's the Uptight Turtle Tee by HOC. I also really like the colors that the designer used. Also, the pattern is made to measure. I prefer made to measure patterns. I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to do math. I want the math done for me. I prefer made to measure patterns just to make sure, just to ensure that they fit. Also because my measurements are very like unique. Another striped tee. I thought this was really cute. It's the Ava tee by, we got the screenshots and the pictures on the screen. I'm not even gonna ruin these people's names. I don't know if I would make my sleeves as long just because, you know, I'm a cap sleeve girl. Actually, really quick, did I even mention this is my Valencia baby tee. Pattern is made by Roche. This is the first and only knit pattern test that I've ever done. This was maybe like what, a couple years ago at this point. But I love, the yarn is Malabrijo in the color named Lotus. I don't know what Malabrijo calls their fingering yarn. This one I thought was a really fun and like unique take on the striped tee, but it has detachable sleeves. So it's like a pullover sweater and then the sleeves are detachable. It looks like with buttons. I think this is one of my favorite patterns probably on the list. I don't know what colors I would use, like a tan and a black. That's kind of the colors that I'm thinking. I love the idea of having the sleeves be detachable. And so, you know, by day it's a short sleeve striped shirt and then at night it's a long sleeve shirt and then the buttons come on and off. This is really fun. Greenstone by Renee. The most iconic part about this movie is her masquerade ball. I found this pattern for a knit eye mask, but unfortunately it was discontinued. If anyone can find it floating around, please help a sister out. This was one of the only knit patterns I could find for like an eye mask. I found a couple of crochet ones, so I'll include that. That scene when she walks in with the dress and all her ops are breaking their neck, like who is this girl? Peak cinema. I have never thought about knitting a baseball cap, but after I found a few patterns, I'm kind of intrigued about it. This pattern specifically calls for a linen cotton yarn, and so I think this would be perfect for like the warm weather. Like in Sam's cap, she has her Dodgers cap. I think even putting maybe like an initial or a shape, a really simple shape, maybe doing some type of duplicate stitch and having the cap, like giving the cap some type of design. I think this would actually be really fun. I actually really like this pattern. This is going to go on the list of realistic possible makes. It is not early 2000s rom-com without the Princess Diaries. I loved Mia's style. I always thought she was cool even before her glow up. So we have another head accessory. I think the idea of a felted bucket hat is really fun. I've never felted any knits. I do have like a couple projects in my queue that require felting, but I haven't tackled them because felting seems a little bit intimidating. This pattern right here, the a la mode, is a free knitting pattern actually. If I made this, I think I'd add maybe like a brooch or like some buttons or something. I actually really want to try this pattern, and it's also a free pattern, so I feel like if you want to try felting out, the barrier to entry is low. So this one is the QDZ bucket hat. It looks like multiple yarns, DK lace and lace. Yeah, 3 yarns held together, friend. We ain't doing all that. If I were to make this, I would just use 1 yarn held together, maximum 2. But it's DK lace and lace to make worsted yarn and then knit on 4mm needles. This pattern is also felted like the first pattern. It's the Bergen bucket hat and it uses bulky weight yarn. It's not a free pattern, but I feel like if you preferred to use bigger needles, this would be a good alternative to the first felted hat pattern. Princess Diaries equivalent to Hilary Duff walking down that staircase in that dress is when Mia's sitting in her chair and her teacher's like, girl, take that hat off. Take the hat off, no hats in class. And she's like, you really want me to flex on them? And she takes her hat off and everybody's like, ooh, they don't make movies how they used to make them, y'all. I loved Mia's schoolgirl style. Her top with the bow tie and the collar. Pattern right here that I found, the obsidian blouse. I love the little tie on the front. I also found the Chantal collar cardigan. It's an interpretation of Mia's schoolgirl style. In most of the first movie, Mia is at school, so she's wearing a lot of her collars, her skirts. I wonder how long it would take to knit something like this. This one is absolutely beautiful though. I love the collar and then the slight like rib detailing on the front. Another tie top, but this one is short sleeves. I like the shape of the sleeves and how it has like the mini ribbing on it. This is the Anthi pattern. It is also a free pattern on Ravelry. I feel like the tie front is like a way to get the collar style without having the collar. I found this thigh-high socks pattern. It is a Lion brand pattern and it's a free pattern, so we love free patterns. I chose this pattern specifically because it has like the heel cut out. I don't know what that's called. It doesn't have the toe and the heel is also cut out, so I feel like this would be a good introduction to making socks without like feeling too overwhelming. Also, in my mind, I feel like it'd be more comfortable in your shoes, no? Like it'd be less fabric bunching up. Mia is not tied down to the school system in the second movie, so we get to see her style a little bit better. I loved this wrap top she had. This pattern that I found right here, the ballerina wrap top, I feel like this one's almost identical. Something like this in a cotton or a linen yarn I think would be perfect just because it already has like a natural drape. I chose this top because I love the ruffle details on the sleeve and on the bottom. That's such an interesting look and I haven't seen anything like it. This is another wrap top, the Pandora knit wrap top. I love the big sleeves on this top. I feel like the easiest way to make a simple silhouette more interesting is to play with the sleeves and play with the neckline. If I were to make a wrap top, what color would I make? First color that comes to mind is maybe some shade of blue, like a teal, maybe like an olive color. I'm thinking something earthly or even like a gray. Nothing screams Y2K, nothing screams spring like a poncho. This poncho that Mia had was absolutely so cute. I found this one, the half collar squared poncho. The yarn that the designer used kind of makes it look like Mia's poncho. I think if you were to use color changing yarn or like striping yarn, visually this is such an interesting pattern. The use of the gradient yarn gives kind of the effect of Mia's poncho with the stripes. Also the collar only being on one side and the giant button in the middle. This is a statement piece for sure. I think even in a solid color this would be really cute. The beauty of it comes from the shape of it, the collar, the button in the front, and then it looks like some type of seam diagonally. This is going to be added to my list of things that I may realistically knit for the season. I absolutely love this, like even with I think some jeans and like a top. I think this is really cute, and I think this would be something easily adaptable to like a cotton yarn or linen yarn. So this is the easy breezy poncho. There's a free version and there's a paid version. The way that I'm looking at it, the construction looks like just a rectangle, but I think you could add stripes if you wanted to, or just do it in a solid color. The original pattern uses fingering weight yarn. This I think would be like the perfect summer or spring poncho. It already uses fingering weight yarn, and so I think in a linen or a cotton, the drape would be beautiful, and then it'd also be breathable for the warm weather. It uses fingering weight yarn, but it uses 9mm needles, and so the fabric is, you know, like already meshy, and I think in a cotton yarn or a linen yarn, this would be the absolute perfect poncho. I think a color changing or like a hand dyed gradient yarn, a yarn with multiple colors, would be really cute in this actually. Okay, so this pattern right here, the On My Way wrap, is designed by the same designer who did the first poncho. You can kind of tell it has the same style with the one collar on the side and then the statement piece button. I absolutely love this poncho. I don't know which one I like more, the first one or the second one, but I think this in a cotton yarn and like a really big statement button, or even like a seashell for a summer vibe, I think could be cute. This one I chose because you're able to wear it multiple different ways. This is the poncho in U form, and so it looks like the construction is a U-shaped fabric, and then depending on how you style it and you layer it, you're able to get different shapes out of the garment. I'm just now realizing now that I'm looking at the screenshot, but it looks like this pattern is in German, but you can see on the pattern photos what the shape of the garment looks like. I think if you were interested in making it, it wouldn't be too hard to replicate this fabric, but I love the idea of making one thing and then being able to wear it multiple different ways and style it in different ways. Best Y2K movie when it comes to fashion, and that's really not even up for the debate. Cheetah Girls is my jam, for real. How is it that you have 4 characters and every single one gives main character energy? Chanel's pink turtleneck, are you kidding me? I absolutely love this look with her hair up and the big earrings. I found this pattern Winter's pullover. I feel like I have a shorter neck, and so if I were to make a turtleneck, I most definitely would have to make the neck shorter, but I love the high neck and the big sleeves. Maybe not something that we're gonna wear for the spring, friend, but I love the big chunky turtleneck and then like the sleeves that you would have to pull up. If I were to make this pattern, I think I would make this in like a burnt orange. This is the totally tubular turtleneck. It's a little more fitted than the first turtleneck pattern on the arms, and the neck is, I think, a little bit slinkier. But I love this pattern. It looks like it's slightly cropped. It's made with bulky yarn. I think the hot pink that the designer used is really cute too. It's similar to Chanel's actual sweater. As a kid, what I loved so much about the fashion in the Cheetah Girls is it felt like every single one of them had main character energy. It wasn't like one person with cute clothes. Like even Dorinda, she was supposed to be the girl, you know, who didn't have much, and she still was coming to school stepping, you feel me? This scene of Aqua and Chanel. Chanel is wearing her turtleneck and Aqua's wearing her fitted cardigan. I found this pattern, it has 0 projects on Ravelry, and I could not believe it. I've been having the urge to make a cardigan, but it didn't feel feasible seeing as how the weather, you know, is starting to get more warm. I found this dainty little tiny fitted cardigan and I'm obsessed. I love the fitted arms. Unless someone beats me to it, friend, I'm gonna be the first project in Ravelry making this cardigan. I saw this cardigan and I literally could not even believe it didn't have 100 makes. I think it is so cute. I wonder if I'd be able to make this cardigan in like a cotton, but it's a fitted cardigan, which I think is so adorable, and it has 3/4 sleeves. Out of all of the patterns that I'm sharing, this is the one that I think I'm like 99% sure actually that I'm gonna make this cardigan. I don't know what color I would make it in though. Another 3/4 sleeve sweater. I think a piece like this would be really fun to style it. Aqua has it over her button up, and you can see how she accessorizes it. I would wear this over a button up. I feel like you could wear this over a t-shirt. I feel like depending on the yarn, depending on the weather, you could even wear it by itself. I'm a sucker for the 3/4 sleeve. I also like the idea of using like a color changing or gradient yarn. We'll see how much energy I have. I can't make both, obviously. I like the first one just a little bit more. I think off the shoulder is the perfect silhouette for a transitional spring piece, especially if it's like a cooler night. You're not hot because your shoulders are out, but you're not cold because you're most likely wearing long sleeves. I love a good off the shoulder, honestly, for any season, and I think depending on the kind of yarn that you could use, this would be the perfect transitional piece for the spring. This pattern right here, the holly off the shoulder, is made with a light fingering yarn. I love how like wide the fold over panel is, and I love the subtle flare on the sleeves. I think this would be really cute with like a statement necklace. I absolutely love this top. The ribbing gives the garment a really interesting, you know, look. I think this is something that you'd be able to knit in a simple neutral and it wouldn't look boring. I also love how it's the short sleeve and how the wide neck, like you can wear it to the side or you can wear it just down the middle. This is the Colette off shoulder top. I love this top. Galleria's Penny Lane coat will go down in history as her most iconic fit of the movie. I found this knitting pattern for a Penny Lane coat, which I think is so cute. And you heard me correctly, friend, it is a free pattern. I've never even in a million years thought about making a Penny Lane coat until I found this pattern. I think even making a meshier version and like using bigger needles would be so cute. And just the shape of the cardigan, you don't even have to add the fur, I think, if you don't want to. I've seen, you know, similar like swim cover-ups if you're looking for a more like warm weather piece. Not anytime immediately, but this is definitely something that I want to make one day. It's the My Fuzzy Valentine. The fuzzy collar is such a fun detail, and the fact that this is a free pattern, not all heroes wear capes. I found this fuzzy neck short poncho moment. It's an interpretation of the Penny Lane coat. It has buttons on the side. I think this is a really fun pattern. It is the rolled collar furry capelet. This would be better, I think, for spring if you wanted kind of like something just to cover your shoulders. I think there's many ways that you could play around with this, and you don't even have to add the furry collar if you want to make it, you know, like more warm weather friendly. Okay, we have one more fuzzy cardigan. This one is literally called the Fuzzy Fluff cardigan. I love the texture on it. The color that the designer used in the photo immediately makes me think of like Oscar the Grouch, I don't know, in a cute knit way. Honestly, I think a cardigan like this in 3/4 sleeves would be really cute too. Last movie we have on the list, we have to go out with the bang. This is hands down my favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, New York Minute. In the beginning of the scene, we get to see, you know, the contrast of their different styles. I cannot tell whose style that I love more. This pattern, T in a T, I think is so perfect. It's made it to look like a short sleeve shirt on top of a long sleeve shirt. This is very Y2K. The ribbed neckline, I feel like gives it an interesting look. We have another hat. This is a cabled brim hat. I'm going to make this, maybe not for the spring, but for the winter. I think this hat is absolutely so adorable. And I think it being made on bulky yarn would be a good way to get into, you know, like cables without it being too intimidating. This is the Devra cabled brimmed hat. We have another hat. This is the Carrie hat. This one is ribbed. I don't know which one I prefer. I think they're both so cute. The designer put in the description that it was inspired by that one episode of Sex and the City, the hat that Carrie is wearing. I think this definitely screams, I just moved to the big city to follow my dreams and I have like the cutest knit wardrobe to accompany me. I love the color that the designer did in this one. If I were to make this, maybe I'd make like a red, like a bright red, like Roxy's hat that she's wearing in the cab, or I would make it in like chocolate brown. Jane's style was so different from Roxy, but I loved her girl next door vibe. This cardigan, the Charlie cardigan, is definitely something that she would wear. I love the slight oversized fit of this cardigan, and I've been wanting to make something with a collar for so long. Maybe I was a little biased when I saw the pattern. I was like, oh, Jane, because I saw the pink, but I think this cardigan is very girl next door. I actually think this cardigan would be the perfect transitional piece for spring. It is the Frederic blouse and it's made with lace weight yarn on 5mm needles. It looks like the designer used maybe some type of mohair. Just how light and airy this piece is, I think this is perfect if you wanted long sleeves for the warmer weather. Knitting with lace weight yarn on 5mm needles. I've never knit with lace weight yarn, so I don't know how tricky that would be to do on 5mm needles, but I think knitting this with a linen yarn or a cotton yarn would be absolutely adorable. If I were to make something like this, I'd probably wear it to the beach. If I made it in cotton and linen yarn, this is something that I'd wear over my swimsuit. Another top that I think would be perfect for the spring, very much has Jane's girl next door energy, is the Naomi blouse. It has a collar and a v-neck, which I think is so cute. What really stood out to me though were the tiny buttons down the middle and the small cap sleeves. If I were to make a top like this, I'd probably do mismatch buttons. Silhouette is really what makes this top, and so I think any yarn would look cute in this. If I were to make it, I'm thinking like a striped version. This is a slightly sassy V pattern. I chose this pattern because it looks pretty easy to customize. Like in the promotional photos, there's 3/4 sleeves, which is the version that I most likely would make. There's long sleeves and there's short sleeves. The fabric is also light too. And so when I'm thinking of spring knits, you don't want anything too heavy. To me, this is just like a staple wardrobe piece. This is something that I'm definitely going to make one day in the future. My favorite scene of the movie will always be when they end up at the concert and they're crowd surfing in their I Heart New York outfits. I love a good cropped boxy tee. That's what I'm learning more about myself. This one is called the cropped boxy tee. I chose this one because of the detail on the neckline and on the sleeves. It gives like an interesting feel to a more simple silhouette. They should invent a day that has more hours. Like I literally want to knit everything. This is a pattern that I think would actually be perfect for the springtime. Another boxy tee. I love this one. It has a short sleeve option and a long sleeve option. Similar to the first pattern, it has like interesting arm details, which I feel like is necessary in an oversized crop tee. I feel like without, you know, some of the details, it has potential to give potato sack. And it looks like the designer used a linen yarn. So this pattern is, if I'm not mistaken, designed for the warmer weather. If I were to make it, I think I'd make the long sleeves. I like the long sleeves just a little bit more. If I were to make this, the first thing that's coming to my mind is like a green. Some shade of green. I think this would be really cute. You know, I don't have anything that's green. Nothing is more Y2K than the skirt. But these are the bliss shorts. I think these are so cute. This is like an ode to the skirt. I really like these shorts. They're big, they're flowy. Depending on what angle, they kind of look like a skirt. I think this is made with cotton yarn, so that's even more perfect for the summer. This pattern also comes with a video tutorial, which I think is really cool. We have another pair of flowy shorts. These are the summer shorts. I really never thought about making shorts before this, but I feel like that'd be kind of fun. And I feel like that'd be a way to practice using like fingering weight yarn but not have to commit to a really big project like a cardigan. The summer shorts have a like matching shirt pattern, and it looks like the shirt is boxy as well. Boxy, friend, I'm trying to tell you, a boxy tee and shorts, that is what we are wearing this summer. If I were to ever make these shorts, I'd want to make the shirt as well so I could have them as a set. I think this is really cute. Okay, friend, last pattern on the list, we have one more pair of shorts. These are the light summer shorts. All of the short patterns I shared are actually really similar. I think it's a matter of finding which size works the best for you, going through the projects, seeing which pattern resonates with you the most. Okay, friend, those are all of the patterns that I found that to me give the ultimate Y2K main character in a rom-com, 30, flirty, thriving energy. Now that I've shared all of my patterns, honestly, still my favorite one is the spring cardigan. So that is the one that I'm going to make, I think, honestly, 100% for sure. I will update it in Ravelry if anyone is interested. Let me know which pattern was your favorite. Do you have any favorite Y2K rom-com movies? Thank you, as always, for spending time with me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.